Hey gang, what's up? It's Ron again over at bulletprooflease.com. Okay, LLCs. I could do a million videos on LLCs, structures, asset protection, things like that, and I'm pretty well versed in that. But today's video is on one specific thing that you could do. Do your own due diligence, of course, but here's a little strategy. So out of all the units, so my wife and I, as you guys know and I've mentioned, we've owned and managed several hundred units up north, so we had a fairly large portfolio. We're retired in Florida now, but it does something in my convertible. So about half the units we ever acquired, roughly half, that's a guess, but I'm close, but roughly half the units we ever acquired, we never went to a bank, right? Think about that, right? So if I make an offer on a Monday, I'm hoping to close on Thursday or Friday, right? I just need title searches done. My lawyer always does those. You never want to bypass that, by the way. And by the way, guys, don't message me. I'm not going to explain how I buy without banks several different ways, okay? And those are videos for much longer videos for other days. But for today's purposes, sometimes if I'm buying a building without a bank, right? Depending on how I structure it, and if that owner of that building has a mortgage currently, and I don't want to pay off the mortgage, and I almost never do, it could violate the due on sale clause from the bank. It's not illegal, by the way. It's just the bank policy that they have the right to call the loan due if their borrower sells the building without paying them off, right? And it makes sense if you think about it. It's very common. What isn't common, though, is them calling it due. It's extremely rare, very rare. So rare, in fact, that, lightning strike rare kind of thing, but it can happen, okay? So one of the ways that they call it due, because they don't really find out, because when it changes hands, when the deed changes hands, that has really almost nothing to do with the mortgage. Don't confuse a mortgage with a deed, okay? And I don't want to ramble on here. So the deed changes hands, but I'm not going to pay out the mortgage typically, okay? How the bank finds out, whoa, Jim Smith sold the building, to XYZ. Well, wait a minute. If they find out, they could call it due. They usually don't, but they could. Well, but when they find out, how do they find out? Well, they usually find out through the insurance, because Jim Smith had insurance, and then, of course, the new owner is going to get it. XYZ LLC is going to get insurance, and by law in most states, the mortgage company has to be notified when the insurance changes. So the bank gets a notification. Oh, XYZ is insuring 123 Main Street. Jim Smith's not. Wait a minute, So the name's different, so now they know, right? So what you could do, okay, I'm rambling and I know that. But what you could do is buy the building in the owner's name, LLC. So if Jim Smith owns the building, you could form Jim Smith LLC. So therefore, when the bank gets notification that it changes, so it was Jim Smith, now it's Jim Smith LLC. They're less likely to scrutinize that. Now, could they still say, well, he moved it into an LLC and that's still a violation? Sure, they could. And there's other strategies around that. I'm not going to talk about that. But you could use the owner's name and form an LLC under that, and that would maybe minimize the scrutiny of it. Anyway, I rambled, but you know what? It's a good strategy if it works for you. Guys, visit bulletprooflease.com. It's a 31-page fully editable lease. You see my videos, I get creative. You know why? I'm not smart. I'm a freaking moron, but I've been through the meat grinder, so it's experience, it's copyrighted, but you can use it on all your units. You can use it as many times if you buy it. Bulletprooflease.com. Thanks for watching.